Chapter 1. Early Life and Education. On August 4, 1961, a boy named Barack Hussein Obama II was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. His mother, Stanley Ann Dunham, was a young woman from Kansas, and his father, Barack Obama Sr., was a student from Kenya who had come to Hawaii for his studies. This multicultural heritage would later play a significant role in shaping Barack's worldview. As a child, Barack was called Barry by his family and friends. He was a cheerful and bright boy. Growing up in the lush, tropical surroundings of Hawaii, young Barry enjoyed the outdoors, spending time at the beach and exploring the natural beauty of the island. Sadly, when Barry was just 2 years old, his parents separated and later divorced. His father returned to Kenya, and he would only see him once more in his life. However, his mother was a strong, determined woman who wanted the best for her son. She taught him the value of education, the importance of respect for all people, and the belief that everyone deserves a fair chance in life. After the divorce, Barry's mother remarried an Indonesian man named Lolo Sotero. The family moved to Jakarta, Indonesia, where Barry lived for a few years. Living in a different culture expanded his horizons and made him realize the vast diversity of the world. But soon, for the sake of his education, he returned to Hawaii. Back in Hawaii, Barry was cared for by his maternal grandparents, Madeline and Stanley Dunham. They were firm but loving, and their influence was profound on him. They emphasized the importance of hard work, integrity, and responsibility. His grandfather would often say, "You're not going to school just to pass the time, Barry. You're going to school to get something from it." In Hawaii, Barry attended the prestigious Punahou School. He was a good student, curious and eager to learn. He loved reading and was especially good at writing. But, like any other teenager, he also loved sports, and he was a member of the school's basketball team. As he grew up, Barry started to ask questions about his identity. He wondered about his father, his African roots, and what it meant to be a black man in America. These questions would later inspire him to learn more about his father's homeland, to understand the struggles of the African American community, and to use this understanding to bring about positive change in society. So, this is where it all started, in the beautiful islands of Hawaii, with his strong and loving mother and grandparents, and with a multitude of questions about his identity. This was the beginning of Barack Obama's journey, a journey that would lead him to become the 44th President of the United States. Young Barack, or Barry as he was known then, had always been a bright and curious student. He understood early on that education wasn't just about reading books or getting good grades. It was about understanding the world around him. He believed in the power of knowledge, and he knew that with it, he could make a difference. In Hawaii, he attended Punahou School, one of the most prestigious private schools on the island. He was an active participant in school activities. He was part of the school's basketball team and loved playing the sport. However, he was more than just a sport-loving teenager. He was also an avid reader and a good writer. His teachers often praised his ability to express his thoughts and ideas beautifully through words. Upon graduating from Punahou, Obama decided to leave the island that he loved to broaden his horizons. He moved to the mainland United States and enrolled at Occidental College in Los Angeles, California. This was a big change for Obama, both geographically and culturally. Being in Los Angeles, one of the most diverse cities in the world, Obama was exposed to various cultures, ideas, and beliefs. This diversity helped shape his worldview and his understanding of the rich tapestry of American life. However, after 2 years at Occidental, Obama felt the need to challenge himself further. he decided to transfer to Columbia University in New York City, where he majored in political science with a specialty in international relations. Living in New York was a different experience altogether. The city was fast-paced, dynamic, and full of life, much like the young man himself. At Columbia, Obama was a serious student who was keenly interested in social issues and politics. He was often seen reading newspapers, magazines, and books, soaking up information and understanding different perspectives. His academic focus on political science and international relations reflected his interest in how societies function and how they interact with each other on the global stage. Obama's college years were not just about academics, though. He also took the time to explore his identity. He read books by African American authors, trying to understand the experiences and struggles of the black community in America. He was coming to terms with his multicultural identity and learning how it fit into the larger narrative of American society. By the time he graduated from Columbia University in 1983, Obama was not just equipped with a degree. He had gained a deeper understanding of himself and the world around him. He had realized the power of education, not only as a tool for personal development, but also as a means to contribute to society. This understanding would become the cornerstone of his journey towards community service and eventually his pursuit of the presidency. After finishing his degree at Columbia University, Barack Obama made a decision that would shape the direction of his life. He moved to Chicago and began working as a community organizer. Here, he saw firsthand the struggles that ordinary people faced, and he also saw the power that communities had when they worked together. This experience deepened his belief in social justice and kindled in him a desire to do more. With this newfound passion, Obama decided to pursue a degree in law. He believed that by understanding the law, he could better serve his community. And so, in 1988, he was accepted into Harvard Law School, one of the most prestigious law schools in the country. At Harvard, Obama was not just a student, he was a leader. His peers and professors quickly noticed his sharp intellect, his ability to understand complex issues, and his skill in articulating his thoughts. In his second year, he was elected as the president of the Harvard Law Review, making him the first African American to hold this position. This was no small feat. The Harvard Law Review is one of the most respected law journals in the world, and being its president was both an honor and a responsibility. While at Harvard, Obama also met a fellow law student named Michelle Robinson. She was smart, strong, and deeply committed to public service, just like him. They fell in love and got married a few years later, becoming a powerful team that would together make a significant impact on American society. After graduating from Harvard Law School, Obama returned to Chicago, his heart set on making a difference. He started working as a civil rights attorney, representing people who had been unfairly treated. He also taught constitutional law at the University of Chicago Law School, sharing his knowledge and passion for justice with the next generation of leaders. However, Obama knew that he could do more. He saw that the issues facing his community needed to be addressed not just in the courts, but also in the halls of power. And so, he decided to step into the political arena. These years, from Harvard Law School to his early career in Chicago, were critical in shaping Obama's path. They were the years when he honed his skills, deepened his understanding of social issues, and found his calling in public service. And they laid the foundation for his journey to the White House, where he would use his education, his passion for justice, and his leadership skills to serve his country as its 44th president. Chapter 2. Entering Politics. After finishing his undergraduate studies at Columbia University, Barack Obama made a life-changing decision. He moved to Chicago to work as a community organizer. He was drawn to the south side of the city, an area known for its vibrant African American culture, but also for its challenges, including poverty, crime, and a lack of opportunities. Obama's job as a community organizer was far from glamorous. His office was a small room in a church basement, and his salary was modest. But the work was rewarding in ways that money couldn't measure. He was on the front lines, working with people who were often overlooked by society, helping them improve their lives and their community. As a community organizer, Obama's role was to listen and empower. He would knock on doors, sit in living rooms, and have conversations with residents about their concerns and hopes. He would then work with them to develop strategies to address their issues, whether it was setting up a job training program, improving local schools, or advocating for better housing conditions. In these years, Obama learned valuable lessons that would serve him throughout his political career. He learned that real change comes from the bottom up, not the top down. He saw that people, no matter their circumstances, want the same basic things: a good job, a good education for their children, a safe neighborhood. And he realized that with the right support and resources, communities could be incredibly resilient and could bring about significant change. But being a community organizer was also challenging. Progress was often slow, and there were many setbacks. There were times when Obama felt frustrated and doubted whether he was making a difference. However, he kept going. He believed in the people he was working with, and he believed in the power of community. It was during his time as a community organizer that Obama first thought about entering politics. He saw that while community organizing could bring about important changes on a local level, there were bigger systemic issues that needed to be addressed at a higher level. He thought about how laws and policies could be used to bring about social justice and equality, and he wondered if he could be a part of that process. So, while Obama's work as a community organizer in Chicago's South Side might have seemed small at the time, it was, in fact, a big step on his journey to the White House. It was here that he honed his leadership skills, developed his philosophy of grassroots activism, and nurtured his commitment to public service. And it was here that he first dreamed of becoming a politician, a dream that he would soon turn into a reality. After years of working as a community organizer and then as a civil rights attorney, Barack Obama felt a calling to serve in a different way. He believed he could bring about greater change by entering the political arena. This belief led him to run for the Illinois State Senate in 1996. His experiences with the people of Chicago's South Side, his understanding of their struggles and dreams, were the driving force behind his campaign. Running for office was a new challenge for Obama. Politics could be a tough and sometimes dirty game. But Obama ran his campaign the way he had done his community work, with integrity, empathy, and a commitment to serving the people. He listened to his constituents, he spoke about issues that mattered to them, and he promised to work hard to bring about positive change. And the people responded. They saw in Obama a leader who understood their struggles, who cared about their welfare, and who had the courage and the skills to make a difference. In 1997, Obama won the election and began his first term in the Illinois State Senate. Serving in the Illinois State Senate was a transformative experience for Obama. He worked on a wide range of issues, from health care and education to jobs and criminal justice reform. He used his legal expertise to draft and promote legislation that would benefit his constituents and the people of Illinois. And he earned a reputation as a politician who could work across party lines to get things done. Some of Obama's significant achievements during his time in the state Senate include creating a state earned income tax credit to benefit the working poor, pushing for increased subsidies for childcare, and passing legislation to monitor racial profiling in traffic stops. He also played a key role in passing an ethics reform law, a significant achievement in a state known for its political scandals. But perhaps most importantly, Obama used his time in the Illinois State Senate to learn about the art of politics. He learned how to build coalitions, how to negotiate and compromise, and how to navigate the complex and often frustrating world of legislative politics. He also learned that despite the challenges, politics could be a powerful tool for bringing about social change. By the time Obama left the Illinois State Senate in 2004, he had made a significant impact on the lives of the people of Illinois. But he was ready for a bigger stage. His next step would be to run for the U.S. Senate, a move that would bring him to the national spotlight and set him on the path to the presidency. His journey in the Illinois State Senate had not only shaped his political career, but also deepened his commitment to serving the people and making a difference in their lives. After serving in the Illinois State Senate for 7 years, Barack Obama was ready for a new challenge. He decided to run for the United States Senate in 2004. This was a significant step, a move from state to national politics. But Obama was not deterred by the magnitude of the task. He was driven by a desire to make a bigger impact, to serve not just the people of Illinois, but the entire nation. Obama's campaign for the U.S. Senate was a testament to his charisma, his ability to connect with people, and his vision for America. He spoke about issues that resonated with people across the state: the need for affordable health care, quality education, job security, and a foreign policy that prioritized diplomacy over conflict. His message of hope and change inspired many, and his campaign gained momentum. One of the defining moments of Obama's Senate campaign was his keynote speech at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. In this speech, Obama shared his personal story, his vision for America, and his belief in the American dream. His words moved millions of people and made him a national figure overnight. I stand here knowing that my story is part of the larger American story. I owe a debt to all of those who came before me, and that in no other country on earth is my story even possible, Obama said in his speech. These words resonated with many Americans who saw in him a reflection of their hopes and dreams. In November 2004, Obama won the Senate election by a landslide, becoming only the third African American since the Reconstruction era to be elected to the U.S. Senate. This was a historic victory, a sign of changing times. In the Senate, Obama continued to focus on the issues that mattered to him and his constituents. He worked on legislation related to health care, energy, immigration, and foreign policy. He served on important committees, including the Foreign Relations Committee, the Health, Education, Labour and Pensions Committee, and the Veterans Affairs Committee. And he continued to inspire people with his words and his actions. However, even as he was serving in the Senate, Obama was thinking about the next step. He saw the challenges facing the country, the growing divide between the rich and the poor, the struggles of the middle class, the contentious foreign policy issues. And he believed that he could help address these challenges. This belief would lead him to make one of the most significant decisions of his life, the decision to run for President of the United States. And so, the road to Washington was not just about moving from state to national politics. It was about expanding his vision, his service, and his leadership. It was about stepping onto a bigger stage and taking on greater challenges. And it was about moving closer to the dream of becoming the president, a dream that was now within his reach. Chapter 3: The Presidential Race. In February 2007, just 2 years after his election to the U.S. Senate, Barack Obama stood before a crowd in Springfield, Illinois, and announced his candidacy for the presidency. It was a momentous occasion, not just for Obama, but for the entire nation. If successful, he would become the first African-American president in the history of the United States. Choosing Springfield for his announcement was symbolic. Springfield was the hometown of Abraham Lincoln, the president who had emancipated the slaves over a century ago. By making his announcement here, Obama was drawing a connection between his own campaign and the ideals of equality and justice that Lincoln had championed. In his announcement speech, Obama presented a vision of America that was hopeful and inclusive. He spoke about the need for change, the need to overcome the divisions of the past and come together as a nation. He talked about his commitment to affordable health care, quality education, economic fairness, and a responsible foreign policy. And he called on the American people to join him in this journey. I'm not talking about blind optimism, the kind of hope that just ignores the enormity of the tasks ahead, or the roadblocks that stand in our path, Obama said. I'm talking about something more substantial. It's the hope of slaves sitting around a fire singing freedom songs. The hope of immigrants setting out for distant shores. The hope of a skinny kid with a funny name who believes that America has a place for him too. Obama's candidacy was met with excitement and skepticism. On one hand, many people were inspired by his message of hope and change. They saw in him a leader who was different, who understood their struggles, and who could bring about real change. On the other hand, there were those who doubted whether a relatively inexperienced senator could handle the complexities and pressures of the presidency. But Obama was undeterred by the skeptics. He knew that the road to the presidency would be tough, but he was ready for the challenge. He believed in his ability to lead, and he believed in the American people's desire for change. The announcement of his candidacy marked the beginning of a long and grueling campaign. It would be a campaign filled with highs and lows, victories and setbacks, hope and despair. But through it all, Obama would remain steadfast in his belief in the American dream and his commitment to making that dream a reality for all Americans. And so, the journey to the White House began. The campaign trail is a grueling test of endurance, character, and leadership. For Barack Obama, his 2008 presidential campaign was all of this and more. It was a journey that took him across the country, from small towns to big cities, from the heartland to the coasts. At the heart of Obama's campaign was his message of hope and change. He spoke about the need for a new kind of politics, one that was not driven by partisanship or personal ambition, but by the common good. He talked about his plans for healthcare reform, for investing in education, for tackling climate change, and for restoring America's standing in the world. And he called on the American people to believe in the possibility of change. Some of the most memorable moments of Obama's campaign were his speeches. Whether he was speaking to a crowd of thousands in a packed stadium or a small group in a local community center, Obama had a way of connecting with people. He spoke with passion and sincerity, and his words resonated with many Americans. One such speech was his A More Perfect Union speech, delivered in March 2008 in Philadelphia. In this speech, Obama addressed the issue of race, a topic that had become a contentious point in the campaign. He spoke candidly about the racial tensions in America, but he also spoke about the potential for unity and progress. It was a powerful and courageous speech, one that demonstrated Obama's ability to tackle difficult issues with honesty and grace. However, the campaign trail was not without its challenges. Obama faced questions about his experience, his policy proposals, and his ability to lead. There were personal attacks, including false rumors about his religion and his place of birth. And there was the pressure of being a black candidate in a country that had never before elected a non-white president. But through it all, Obama remained focused and resilient. He responded to criticism with grace and patience. He defended his policies and his vision for America, and he never lost sight of why he was running: to serve the American people and to bring about positive change. Along the way, Obama inspired millions of people. His message of hope and change resonated with young and old, with people of all races and backgrounds. He mobilized a new generation of voters and brought a sense of excitement and possibility to the campaign. By the time Election Day arrived in November 2008, Obama had traveled thousands of miles, given hundreds of speeches, and met countless Americans. His journey on the campaign trail had been long and challenging, but it had also been inspiring and transformative, and it was about to culminate in a historic moment, a moment that would change the course of American history. November 4, 2008, was a day of historic significance for the United States. It was the day when Barack Obama, a junior senator from Illinois, became the 44th President of the United States. He was the first African American to achieve this feat, breaking a barrier that had stood for more than 2 centuries. As the election results trickled in, anticipation turned into celebration. Obama had won. He had secured a convincing victory over his Republican opponent, Senator John McCain, winning both the popular vote and the Electoral College. The victory was not just a personal achievement for Obama. It was a triumph for the millions of Americans who had believed in his message of hope and change, who had worked tirelessly on his campaign, and who had turned out in record numbers to vote. That night in Grant Park, Chicago, Obama delivered his victory speech. He stood before a crowd of nearly 250,000 people, their faces a mosaic of America's diversity. His speech was broadcast to millions of homes across the country and around the world. If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer, Obama said. His words echoed the optimism and resilience that had defined his campaign. He acknowledged the challenges that lay ahead: the economic crisis, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the need for healthcare reform. But he also spoke of his belief in the American people's ability to overcome these challenges. "Yes, we can," he said, repeating the slogan that had become the mantra of his campaign. "Yes, we can heal this nation. Yes, we can repair this world. Yes, we can." Barack Obama's victory in the 2008 presidential election was more than just a political triumph. It was a testament to the progress America had made in its long journey towards equality and justice. It was a reminder of the power of hope and the potential of democracy. And it was a moment of celebration, not just for Obama and his supporters, but for all Americans. As the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama would face many challenges. He would have to navigate the complexities of domestic and international politics, make difficult decisions, and lead the nation through times of crisis. But on that November night, as he stood before a cheering crowd in Grant Park, the possibilities seemed endless. The son of a Kenyan father and a Kansan mother, a man who had once been a community organizer on the streets of Chicago, was now the President-elect of the United States. It was a victory for Barack Obama and a victory for the American dream. Chapter 4. First Term as President. On January 20, 2009, Barack Obama was inaugurated as the 44th President of the United States. The event was a spectacle, with an estimated 1.8 million people gathered in the National Mall in Washington, D.C., to witness the historic moment. Obama's inauguration marked the beginning of a new era, one filled with hope and promise, but also with numerous challenges. In his inaugural address, Obama acknowledged the difficult times the country was facing. The American economy was in the throes of the Great Recession, the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. The country was also involved in 2 wars, in Iraq and Afghanistan. Despite these challenges, Obama's speech was filled with optimism and resolve. Today I say to you that the challenges we face are real. They are serious, and they are many. They will not be met easily or in a short span of time. But know this, America, they will be met, he declared. As president, Obama wasted no time in implementing his policies. His first days in office were marked by a flurry of executive orders and legislative proposals aimed at addressing the most pressing issues. One of his first actions was to sign the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act into law, a piece of legislation that made it easier for workers to challenge unequal pay. This was a testament to his commitment to equal rights and a fair economy. To tackle the economic crisis, Obama championed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. This stimulus package, amounting to more than $800 billion, was designed to spur economic growth through investment in infrastructure, education, health, and renewable energy. It also included tax cuts for middle-class families and small businesses. In the realm of foreign policy, Obama signaled a shift from the previous administration's approach. He ordered the closure of the Guantanamo Bay detention camp, a highly controversial facility where suspected terrorists were being held without trial, although the closure would not be realized due to congressional opposition. He also announced plans for the withdrawal of troops from Iraq, a move that marked the beginning of the end of a long and divisive war. These early policies were a reflection of Obama's vision for America. They underscored his commitment to economic fairness, social justice, and a responsible foreign policy. They were also indicative of his leadership style: bold, decisive, and forward-thinking. However, these policies were not without controversy. Obama faced criticism from those who felt his economic policies were too costly or too interventionist. There were also those who disagreed with his approach to foreign policy. These challenges, however, were just the beginning. Obama's first term as president was marked by significant achievements, but also by intense debates and political battles. And through it all, he remained committed to his vision of change, leading the nation through one of its most challenging periods. When Barack Obama took office in January 2009, the United States was in the grip of the Great Recession. Unemployment was rising, banks were failing, the housing market was collapsing, and the automobile industry was on the brink of bankruptcy. The economy was in free fall, and the new president was tasked with the monumental challenge of stopping the slide and setting the country on the path to recovery. Obama's strategy for addressing the economic crisis was multifaceted. First, he championed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, a massive stimulus package designed to jump-start the economy. The act provided for extensive investment in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and renewable energy. It also included tax cuts aimed at stimulating consumer spending and helping small businesses. Second, to stabilize the financial sector, Obama signed into law the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. This legislation aimed to prevent another financial crisis by creating new oversight agencies and increasing regulations on banks and other financial institutions. It also established protections for consumers to prevent predatory lending practices. Third, to save the floundering auto industry, Obama authorized a federal bailout of General Motors and Chrysler. This controversial move involved government loans to the companies in return for significant restructuring. The bailout was criticized by some as government overreach, but ultimately it saved thousands of jobs and helped the auto industry recover. These measures were not without controversy. Critics argued that the stimulus package was too expensive and would lead to excessive government debt. Others felt that the Dodd-Frank Act was overly burdensome for businesses. The auto industry bailout was criticized as a government handout. However, these criticisms were offset by the tangible results of Obama's policies. The stimulus package helped slow the rate of job losses, and by 2010, the economy was adding jobs again. The Dodd-Frank Act, while not perfect, helped to bring stability back to the financial sector. The auto industry bailouts saved an estimated 1.5 million jobs, and by 2015, the auto industry had recovered to pre-recession levels. Facing the Great Recession was one of the most significant challenges of Obama's first term. It was a time of uncertainty and hardship for many Americans. But through decisive action and bold policies, Obama was able to steer the country through the crisis and set the foundation for economic recovery. It was a testament to his leadership and his commitment to the American people. One of Barack Obama's most significant policy goals during his first term was to reform the American healthcare system. At the time, millions of Americans were uninsured or underinsured, and healthcare costs were skyrocketing. For Obama, healthcare reform was not just a policy issue, it was a moral issue. The road to healthcare reform was long and fraught with political obstacles. Obama's plan was to create a system that provided universal coverage, reduced healthcare costs, and improved the quality of care. He proposed the creation of a public health insurance option, the expansion of Medicaid, and regulations to prevent insurance companies from denying coverage based on pre-existing conditions. The proposal, however, was met with fierce opposition from Republicans and some Democrats. Critics argued that it was an overreach of government power and would lead to a decrease in the quality of care. The debate over healthcare reform was contentious and polarizing, and it dominated the national conversation for over a year. Despite the opposition, Obama remained steadfast in his commitment to healthcare reform. He worked tirelessly to build support for his plan, delivering speeches, holding town hall meetings, and negotiating with lawmakers. His efforts were aided by the Democratic majority in Congress, which was instrumental in crafting and passing the legislation. After months of debate and negotiation, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, also known as the ACA or Obamacare, was signed into law on March 23, 2010. The law represented the most significant overhaul of the U.S. healthcare system since the creation of Medicare and Medicaid in the 1960s. Under the ACA, millions of Americans gained access to affordable health insurance. The law also implemented important consumer protections, such as prohibiting insurance companies from denying coverage based on pre-existing conditions or charging women more than men for the same coverage. However, the ACA was not without its flaws. Some people experienced increases in premiums, and there were issues with the rollout of the healthcare.gov website. The law also continued to face legal and political challenges, including a Supreme Court case challenging its constitutionality. Despite these challenges, the ACA represented a major achievement for Obama. It was a testament to his determination to bring about meaningful change, even in the face of significant opposition. Through his leadership, millions of Americans gained access to health care, a fundamental right that had been out of reach for too long. Chapter 5: Second Term and Legacy. In 2012, Barack Obama faced the American public for re-election as the 44th President of the United States. It was a time of significant change in America and across the globe. The nation was slowly recovering from the Great Recession. International relations were shifting, and social issues were at the forefront of public discourse. Obama's challenger was the former governor of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney. a successful businessman and the co-founder of the private equity firm Bain Capital, Romney presented himself as a pragmatic, experienced leader who could steer the American economy back to robust growth. The campaign was hard-fought, with sharp contrasts drawn between Obama's progressive policies and Romney's conservative platform. The candidates clashed over the economy, healthcare, foreign policy, and social issues. The debates were intense, and the public was deeply divided. Yet, through the din of political ads, campaign rallies, and heated debates, Obama's message remained consistent. He spoke of his achievements during his first term, such as the passage of the Affordable Care Act, the economic recovery, and the end of the war in Iraq. He outlined his vision for the future, which included continued healthcare reform, investment in education and renewable energy, and tax reform. On November 6, 2012, after a long and grueling campaign, Obama was re-elected as president. He won 332 electoral votes to Romney's 206, and won the popular vote by nearly 5 million votes. His victory was a testament to his leadership and his ability to connect with the American people. In his victory speech, Obama thanked his supporters and spoke of the work that lay ahead. "We are an American family, and we rise or fall together as one nation and as one people," he said. "We know in our hearts that for the United States of America, the best is yet to come." Obama's re-election marked the beginning of his second term in office, a time of significant achievements, challenges, and changes for the nation. It was also a time when Obama's legacy began to take shape, a legacy that would have a lasting impact on the country and the world. Barack Obama's second term as President of the United States was marked by a series of major initiatives that aimed to address both domestic and international challenges. These initiatives reflected his progressive vision for the country and had a significant impact on the course of American policy and global affairs. One of Obama's most significant initiatives during his second term was his efforts to combat climate change. Recognizing the urgent need for action, Obama implemented a series of measures aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions and promoting clean energy. His Clean Power Plan, announced in 2015, aimed to reduce carbon emissions from power plants, the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in the US. He also negotiated the Paris Climate Agreement, an international accord aimed at limiting global warming. On the domestic front, Obama tackled immigration reform. His executive action, known as Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, offered temporary protection from deportation and work authorization to certain undocumented immigrants who were brought to the US as children. While this action was met with opposition and legal challenges, it offered a measure of security to hundreds of thousands of immigrants. In the realm of foreign policy, Obama worked to improve relations with Cuba, marking a significant shift in US policy that had endured for more than 50 years. He also negotiated the Iran nuclear deal, an international agreement aimed at preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. These initiatives were not without controversy. Critics argued that Obama's climate policies were harmful to the economy and that his immigration actions were an overreach of executive power. His foreign policy initiatives were criticized by those who felt they did not do enough to protect American interests. However, these criticisms did not deter Obama. He remained committed to his vision for a more progressive America and a more peaceful world. His initiatives during his second term reflected this commitment and had a significant impact on the country and the world. As his second term came to a close, Obama's legacy began to take shape. His major initiatives on climate change, immigration, and foreign policy had set new directions for American policy. His leadership during a time of significant change and challenge had left an indelible mark on the nation. Despite the controversies and challenges, Obama's second term was a testament to his determination to bring about meaningful change. As Barack Obama's second term drew to a close, it was time to reflect on his legacy as the 44th President of the United States. His presidency was marked by significant achievements, challenges, and transformations, both at home and abroad. One of the most profound aspects of Obama's legacy was his impact on healthcare. The Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare as it is commonly known, brought about a significant shift in American healthcare, providing coverage to millions of uninsured Americans and introducing new consumer protections. His efforts to combat climate change marked another significant aspect of his legacy. From the Clean Power Plan to the Paris Climate Agreement, Obama's initiatives pushed for a more sustainable future and set the U.S. on a path to reduce carbon emissions. On immigration, Obama's policies, particularly DACA, provided temporary relief to hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants, although comprehensive immigration reform remained elusive. In foreign policy, Obama's diplomatic approach led to a thaw in relations with Cuba and the Iran nuclear deal, both significant shifts in American foreign policy. However, these were also areas of controversy and criticism, showing the complexities of global politics. His presidency was also significant in terms of social and cultural changes. Obama's tenure saw a greater acceptance of same-sex marriage, continued efforts to address racial disparities, and an increased focus on gun control. Obama's farewell address, delivered in Chicago in January 2017, encapsulated the themes of hope, change, and resilience that had characterized his presidency. He encouraged Americans to remain engaged in the democratic process and to continue working towards a more perfect union. In the end, that's what this election is about. Do we participate in a politics of cynicism, or do we participate in a politics of hope? He asked. His message was one of optimism, resilience, and an enduring faith in the potential of the American people. As Obama left the White House, his legacy was that of a leader who had navigated the country through a period of significant change and challenge. His presidency was marked by progress and controversy, success and setbacks. But through it all, he remained steadfast in his commitment to his vision of an America that was more inclusive, more just, and more forward-looking. Chapter 6. Life after the Presidency. Barack Obama's presidency officially ended on January 20, 2017, when he handed over the reins of leadership to his successor. As is customary, Obama and his family attended the inauguration ceremony, a symbol of the peaceful transition of power that is a hallmark of American democracy. Leaving the White House and transitioning back to private life is a unique experience for any former president. For Obama, this period represented a shift from the intense scrutiny and responsibility of the presidency to a quieter, albeit still public, role as a citizen. In the immediate aftermath of his presidency, Obama took some time off to rest and reflect. He and his family embarked on a well-deserved vacation to Palm Springs, California, and later to the British Virgin Islands, where he was photographed enjoying water sports and relaxed downtime. In addition to rest and relaxation, Obama also began to outline his post-presidential plans. He and former First Lady Michelle Obama established the Obama Foundation, a Chicago-based non-profit organization aimed at inspiring and empowering future leaders around the world. Obama also returned to one of his passions, writing. He began working on his memoir, A Promised Land, which provides an in-depth account of his political career, the presidency, and his views on American democracy. Despite his retreat from the political spotlight, Obama remained a figure of interest and influence. His words and actions continued to be closely followed, and his perspective on current events was often sought. He used his platform to speak out on issues he cared about, from climate change to racial justice, and to lend his support to Democratic candidates in subsequent elections. The transition out of the White House marked the beginning of a new chapter in Obama's life. Although he was no longer president, his commitment to public service, his passion for positive change, and his belief in the power of hope remained undiminished. His post-presidential life was a testament to his enduring influence and the legacy of his presidency. After leaving the White House, Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama established the Obama Foundation, a non-profit organization based in Chicago. The foundation embodies the spirit of public service that defined Obama's career and seeks to inspire and empower the next generation of leaders. The Obama Foundation's mission is to inspire, empower, and connect people to change their world. It aims to achieve this by focusing on 4 main areas: civic engagement, leadership development, community building, and creating a more inclusive economy. Through its programs and initiatives, the Foundation provides young leaders with the tools and resources they need to create change in their communities. The Foundation's Leadership Academy, for instance, is a program that offers training, mentorship, and resources to help young people develop their leadership skills. The Obama Foundation also oversees the creation of the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. The center, which includes a museum, a library, and space for public programs, will serve as a hub for the Foundation's activities and a place for citizens to engage with their communities and the world. In addition to its work in the United States, the Obama Foundation has a global reach. The Foundation's Leaders Africa program, for example, is a year-long initiative that aims to inspire, empower, and connect emerging leaders from across Africa. The Obama Foundation represents Barack Obama's ongoing commitment to public service and civic engagement. Through its work, the Foundation seeks to continue the spirit of hope, change, and community engagement that defined Obama's presidency. It's a testament to Obama's belief in the power of grassroots activism and the potential of young leaders to shape the future. Obama's role in the Foundation is that of a mentor, guide, and inspiration. His speeches, workshops, and interactions with young leaders provide invaluable insights and encouragement. Even after his presidency, Barack Obama continues to inspire and influence, shaping not only the future of America, but also impacting communities around the world. Barack Obama may have stepped down from the presidency, but his influence on American politics and global affairs has far from diminished. As a former president, Obama has transitioned into a role where he continues to shape conversations and actions on key issues, both domestically and internationally. Domestically, Obama has remained a prominent figure within the Democratic Party. His endorsement is highly sought after in elections, and his speeches continue to draw widespread attention. He has used his platform to advocate for issues that were central to his presidency, such as affordable health care, climate change, racial justice, and gun control. One of his most significant impacts post-presidency has been his voice in the ongoing discourse around racial equality in the United States. Following the death of George Floyd in 2020, Obama used his platform to call for police reform and express solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. His engagement with these issues continues to shape the national conversation around racial justice. Internationally, Obama's influence remains strong. His views on international relations, climate change, democracy, and human rights are widely respected. He has continued to speak out on global issues, from the urgency of climate action to the importance of democratic institutions. His memoir, A Promised Land, not only reflects on his presidency, but also provides his insights on global politics and the challenges facing the world. Through the Obama Foundation, he has also been able to nurture and inspire the next generation of leaders, both in the United States and around the world. His focus on empowering young people to become active participants in shaping their communities and countries is a testament to his belief in the power of grassroots activism. As a statesman, author, and leader of the Obama Foundation, Barack Obama continues to leave a mark on American politics and global affairs. His presidency may have ended, but his journey of public service and his commitment to fostering positive change continue, ensuring his ongoing influence in the years to come.